The menace of vivisection has taken the place of the threat of sex slavery. Ghouls and humans imprisoned in small cages. Freezes brimming with severed limbs. Drawers stuffed with amputated digits. Men who want live organ donation while keeping their eyes fixed on the breast tube. Lucy manages to get away, but not because of herself. She didn't realize that the organ traffickers she was ordering to be released were actually wild ghouls. She hasn't given in to the ghouls' brutal interpretation of America, despite being born again and outfitted for life in the wasteland. That is, on a personal level, she continues to be well known in a community made up only of the offspring of those who were wealthy enough to escape the destruction caused by nuclear war and leave everyone else on their own. Despite this, she doesn't murder the ghoul or let him perish. She gives him several vials, which enable him to resurrect and plunder the whole cache, most likely providing him with sustenance for years to come. Just like she has been saying, Lucy embodies the golden rule. Finally, Fallout has an impressively filthy mind. The moment Lucy finally gives in to her own helplessness and drinks radioactive water reminds me of a very similar, and very similarly kink-shaded, scene in which the magic-wielding prisoner Egwene gives in and pours water on behalf of her slave driver. Perhaps this is just because actor Zelia Mendez-Jones appears in both shows. All I can say is that I'm not made of stone, even though you might not have felt the same way about Ella Purnell drinking water from a trough as a towering, cadaverous Walton Goggins watches on and holds her leash. The same is true at the Vault, where efforts are underway to civilize the raiders who have been arrested while a competition is underway to replace Hank as overseer. Following a lead from an apprehended raider, Norm and his cousin Chet explore the destroyed Vault 32 and learn that its occupants committed mass murder-suicide more than 2 years before to the raiders' arrival. The only indication they have is bloody graffiti that reads, "We know the truth," and "Death to management." All of the papers pertaining to that vault and its communication with their own have been sealed, and the raiders were able to access the vault door by using a code that belonged to mother of Norm and Lucy, long lost. Chet embarks on this adventure, however, in order to escape the scene at his house, where Steph, the homicidal pregnant lady with one eye, is giving birth. Why that particular place? Because she offered her late husband's belongings, dressed Chet up in them, jumped his bones, and had her water break nearly instantly when his fingers touched her bathing suit region, all in an attempt to coerce Chet into acting against the raiders. Well, I guess any direct mention of wetness as a sign of pleasure shows a willingness to be honest in the representation of sex, which is admirable, even though in this instance Chet was a little wrong. This episode is a little off-model in that it doesn't contain any Maximus content. Fallout seems to have a winning combination of brutal violence, entertaining creatures, great gags, and a dirty mind, though I may be sounding like a broken record. Even with writer Kieran Fitzgerald and director Daniel Gray Longino replacing the original trio of Jonathan Nolan, Geneva Robertson Dworet, and Graham Wagner, it is still the case. Every episode seems like the first one of a new series.